You work hard for your warehouse, but is your technology working as hard as you do? Don't you think your warehouse deserves that? Find that technology work ethic with the EPG One Unified Supply Chain Execution Suite that's built to arm warehouse leaders with tech that powers competitive edge. With modular solutions for WMS, WCS, TMS, workforce, doc, 3PL billing, control tower, and the number one voice picking solution named Lydia Voice, the EPG One suite gives you tech that works harder for your warehouse and the agility to help you scale with confidence and be built for what's next. Smarter, connected, and harder working logistics starts at epg.com. That's epg.com.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hey, it's Kevin with the New Warehouse Podcast, bringing you a new episode today. And on today's episode, I am going to be joined by Maïré Bavarday, and she is the CEO and founder of Ecomspaces, which I've been wanting to talk to her for a while on the podcast. So I'm very excited to get her on today and learn about what she's building, what she's been building with Ecomspaces as a creator, accelerator space for e-commerce, but also 3PL fulfillment services as well, doing a lot of interesting things. And my understanding is just going through a facility move as well. So I think we're going to hear a little bit about that too, and very interested to learn more about her business and how she got into this. So Maïré, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, well, thank you for the invite. Super excited to be here finally. I heard a lot of your podcasts, so
thank you.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Good. Well, I won't put you on the spot and ask you what's your favorite one, but I appreciate you listening, definitely. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about Ecomspaces, what it's all about, and tell us how you got to the point of starting Ecomspaces.
Yes, so I started Ecomspaces back in 2020. However, I had the first company that I started in 2013. That's how I got into logistics. Literally from my bedroom, I started selling stuff online. I was doing some type of I was selling things that people wanted to buy from friends that they couldn't buy on websites in the US because these websites would not ship overseas. And I saw the gap in the market. And automatically, I don't know why I decided to do this because, mind you, I do not have a logistic background. I have a social work background. I studied in criminology, but I don't know why. I saw the gap and I was like, oh my God, let me start selling these products online for people. So I wasn't doing logistic per se. I was reselling. And then over time, the clients were asking me to buy on certain websites for them. So from that, I created a parcel forwarding company called RelaShop USA. And that company grew pretty quickly because the French niche was not tapped into at all. You have all these big companies like MyUS, Shipito back then. All of them, they were targeting other markets. And because of that, I didn't have to spend any marketing money. People found me. They were looking for me on Google. They heard about me from social media, and I quickly grew the demand without doing anything. So imagine doing this from your bedroom, then I upgraded to the living room. Finally, in the midst of this, I got married. My husband and I, we got a house. So I upgraded to the garage. And
from the bedroom to the living room to the garage. I like
exactly.
It. Okay.
And so it was pretty hectic in the garage. It was going crazy. I was working from 7 in the morning to 1 a.m. at night every day, 7 days a week. But I couldn't see the end of the tunnel, and I was literally going crazy. I was wondering, how is this going to change? I don't have enough money to get a warehouse, I cannot get an employee at my house. I don't have enough money to get a warehouse, and I don't even know how to run a warehouse. So I started looking at any warehouse companies that could do what I was doing with my process, and none of them wanted to do it exactly like I want it to be done. So I would have to change a lot of things, and then I was also losing the quality of the work, and it would be more expensive too. So I just stopped looking, and I decided to save money for a year and a half. I just saved all the money. I didn't touch the money of the business. And then at some point, I was able to get my own warehouse and hire my first employee. So from 2013, now in 2015, June 2015, I get a 4,000 square feet warehouse unit in a business center close to my house. I'm super excited. I'm like, yay. But all of this, like the getting out of the house for a year and a half, it was a pure nightmare to see the potential of the business, but no support at all. I had nobody to help me. I was crying during the day, at night, like packing boxes, thinking, how is this going to help? And during that time, I thought to myself, if I ever become successful with that business, Village Shop USA, I will want to help other founders so they won't have to go through all of this. Now, fast forward 2017, I moved again to a larger warehouse, 20,000 square feet, with offices and a massive warehouse. And I was like, this is it. I can do what I always wanted to do. So I started to share the space with other founders in e-commerce. And quickly, I realized that they had the same issues that I had when I was working from home. So I was helping them with photography. They were asking me to do the shipping for them. So I was doing fulfillment before I even started Ecomspaces. And 2020 is when I decided to separate the fulfillment from the other company and also have a more structured business to support them. Not only shipping, we also help them with their marketing, branding. We help them with strategic decisions that they have to make. They don't always listen to us, and then they regret. We're going to talk about it later, probably.
Yeah.
But this is the whole, what I experienced being in e-commerce and logistics, and the pain of it really is what made Ecomspaces back in 2020 in the midst of the pandemic. And with all these founders struggling, shipping at home, so they came to us.
Interesting. Yeah. And I love the journey there, and just the grinds, really, right? I mean, going from 7 in the morning to 1 in the morning, just trying to figure it out, and, upgrading from the bedroom to the living room to the garage, right? And then finally getting that warehouse space. I can imagine that was such an impactful day for you, right? And it's such like, wow, like I made it this far. Like I've crossed this river basically, and now I'm on my way potentially, and now you're here, and you just moved into a new facility as well, right? So tell us a little bit the Ecomspaces, and I guess maybe first question is, do you still have the original business that you started in the bedroom? Yeah, so you're still running that too?
Actually, do.
Yeah.
And I have a whole story about that as well, because we're about to rebrand. And I had an intern that came back in 2017. She kept working with me as an employee, and now she's becoming a business partner, because that business, I literally do not manage it. She's managing everything.
Oh, nice.
And we still do not do any marketing for it. We still have clients. But now she's like, okay, she really wants to do more with it. So I decided to partner with her and give her some equity and rebrand the whole thing.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay. All right. So now tell us from Ecomspaces perspective. So you're helping these founders get, whether it's marketing, get their ecom brand off the ground, or just fulfillment services. I mean, who are you really, I guess, who's like your target client? Like who is somebody that's like in Ecomspaces or would be like a good fit for Ecomspaces?
Yes. So we have, I would say, two different target audience. For sure, for the fulfillment services, we know that our ideal client, like everybody else probably in a 3PL, is someone who ships purpose-driven. That's the non-negotiable. All these brands have to be purpose-driven, meaning that they created a product to solve a problem. They're not just in it to make money. It's not like, oh, I'm looking for cool products to make. No. We want them to have a very strong story. I had this issue, or I have someone that I know that had this issue. I created a product to help them. It worked. And I realized that other people had the same problem. So I put this in the market. And the other criteria for fulfillment, I mean, the sweet spot for us is a 1 SKU brand and shipping at least, I would say, 100 orders a day minimum. But we have another side of the business where we help super small brands. They don't necessarily need to do fulfillment with us.
Okay.
And so usually when people are going to come on our website, they're going to do a quiz. And then from that quiz, we're going to send them to the proper channels. Okay, you ready for fulfillment? We can help you with that. And then we can help you with other stuff as well. If you're not ready for fulfillment, we have programs that can help them. So they can become a member, they can follow our workshops, we do an assessment of their business, and we identify the bottleneck, and then we focus only on that until it's solved, and then we get to the next thing.
Interesting. Okay. So it's kind of like a phased approach almost, right? And I think that's really interesting. So I'm curious there. I mean, in your opinion, like for brands that are starting out, or maybe they're trying to grow and figure out exactly where their market is, and where are they going to connect and resonate, that they're going to start to grow that order volume. At what point would you recommend that they, because you've been through this, right? I mean, at what point would you recommend that they look to outsource their fulfillment or look at potential fulfillment providers?
I will say if you spend 2 hours or more shipping on your own, that I think this is time to start looking for a fulfillment center. But one thing we do with the brands as well is we try, and we have ShipStation that's actually helping us with that, is we try to help them be more efficient. So it might take them 2 hours to ship from home, but if we can make them ship in an hour instead of 2, by being more organized, more efficient, using the right systems, I think it's good to ship on your own for a little bit in the beginning before you go to a fulfillment center. But time-wise, I would say when you start being like 2 hours and more in your day, every day, start looking at outsourcing, because you need to focus on the things that you're good at. And shipping is like, okay, if your brand is going well and is growing, you're going to have to focus on marketing, on customer experience, on all these other things to keep growing. The shipping going to take that from you.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing to note there, because I think a lot of brands, right, like they want to focus on, I mean, like in my experience, not many brands come from people that have like a logistics or warehousing background, right?
Not at all.
Like you said, like you didn't have a background, right? And so when you start to put more time into trying to figure that out, and you don't necessarily have the background to really understand how to make it more efficient or how to make it faster, right? Or maybe reduce the cost there, and then you start to move away from the actual growth aspect, right? Which is like the sales and marketing and branding and things like that, I think, and product development. And you start to kind of take away from what you really need to be focused on as the founder of the brand, right? So very interesting there. So now tell us a little bit about when you decided to start offering fulfillment services. What were some of the challenges there? Because you've been doing it for yourself, right? Which is one thing, but now you're going to work with other people that have ways that they do things, and maybe they have different requirements and different expectations. What were some of the challenges initially, and how did you navigate them when you started offering these fulfillment services?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Struggling with scanning errors and peeling labels? Moving or reconfiguring your warehouse? Implementing a new WMS? The wrong labels can slow your operation down. Luckily, ID Label has durable, scannable barcode labels and signs built to last and keep your operation moving. Plus, if you need to get those labels installed, they've got it covered. Their expert team installs rack labels, overhead signs, floor striping, and more with precision, so your warehouse operations continue uninterrupted. I've installed tens of thousands of labels in my career, and I wish I had someone else do it for me. Get a free sample pack at idlabelinc.com, because when they do the barcodes, you can do more. That's idlabelinc.com for a free sample pack and more information.
The first thing that comes in mind is finding the right WMS system. Oh, that was really hard. And I actually used ShipStation for a very long time because it was very cost effective. And yeah, I had a couple of clients on it for a very long time. But I would say the technology piece has always been a challenge in the beginning. Finding something that wasn't too expensive because you don't have that many clients, so you cannot really pay for it yet. And knowing that fulfillment was not the only thing we're providing. So remember, we have all these other services that we provide. And so I never been actively looking for clients until this year. It's literally now this month that we're going to start reaching out to people. We never done that, ever. And another challenge was indeed the different clients, the different processes, clients with 200 plus SKUs, and not knowing. So, when you start as a 3PL, I didn't know that a client with 250 SKUs would take so much space and everything is not going to move. So I'm thinking, I'm going to make money with the storage. And then now looking back, I'm like, whoa, if things are not moving, the storage, you're losing money because I could have taken other clients with less SKUs that were moving stuff, and these clients were taking the space. Because the space where we were at, the last one, became too small. And that was a big issue for us in January. I needed more clients, but I couldn't add more clients because I didn't have enough space, because a lot of these brands were taking space. Yeah. So not knowing these things definitely became an issue after. But the whole process of trying to set up everything and figuring out processes and system, I really enjoyed it. And I even think that not having a logistic background gave me an advantage because I was very curious. And I just invented some stuff that other warehouse actually saw and were like, oh my God, this is so smart. Why are we not doing this? And me knowing that I have a very limited staff, I don't have time, I'm super busy. I always pushed myself in finding the most efficient processes possible to pack very fast.
Interesting. Give us an example of some of these things. That's exciting. That's like the kind of continuous improvement mindset. So I'd love to hear like an example of what's something you found that somebody else was like, oh, we need to do this too.
Oh my God, it's so hard to explain without showing a video. So. Something as simple as, so actually Shipiro is doing this now. They have this light to pack where they put clients who have a lot of SKUs at the packing station. And before they were doing this, we were actually attempting to do the light stuff. But we were doing like we were calling it direct pack, actually. We were calling this direct pack. And we put everything, the way we also organize stuff in our warehouse, we had like the big racks, but under we had the rolling shelves. And sometimes instead of picking things in totes, it's actually faster to just carry this next to the packing station and then put them back in locations. So that was a few things like this that we were doing that other warehouses were not doing. And they were like, oh my God, we definitely need to do that. Because they all had static shelves. So the shelves couldn't move.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Like, so you would have basically some SKUs that were kind of like, had a lot of orders or high volume, just like bring them right next to the pack station, do the pick and pack at the same time, right? And you mentioned Ship Hero in there, and that's your WMS, right? So
yes.
So you mentioned in the beginning that was some of the challenge, was like trying to figure out what WMS should I go with and when should I go with a WMS. So tell us a little bit about like that process and how did you end up with Ship Hero?
I actually discovered Ship Hero in 2016-17. I already wanted to use it, but it was way too expensive for me. So in between, I was using, of course, ShipStation, which is not a WMS, but I turned it as a WMS by using other softwares around it to pick.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And I tried a couple of them. Can I name them? I don't know.
Sure, yeah.
I tried a bunch like Logiwa, we tried ShipEdge, and I never was satisfied with how this WMS system were working. And I always had Ship Hero in the back of my head because I kept looking at the demo. I kept going on the website and looking how it worked. I think I did a call with them way back then. And I was just hopeless. I was like, oh my God, it's way too expensive. I'll never be able to afford this. And so all these years, I literally was just scrambling with ShipStation as a order management system and having all this thing around. But once we had enough volume and I could make it make sense to actually have a WMS system like this, we switched to Ship Hero. And that definitely is worth the cost because it saves you 3-4 employees, I would say, in terms of what we were doing before. Because before, someone needed to add the SKUs manually every time we had a new client coming in. The clients they didn't really have a portal, so we had to do a lot of things for them. So on the customer service side, I was spending more money. On the receiving side, ShipStation doesn't have a receiving feature, so we had to receive things pretty manually. Inventory was always not totally accurate and clients couldn't see it. So it was a lot of issues like this that I was having people doing this manually. And once we had Ship Hero, I could actually migrate these people to do something else versus doing these tasks that are now automated in Ship Hero.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think that's really interesting to hear those tasks that were kind of alleviated and been able to move somewhere else, those workers. And so, I mean, what would be your advice there? Because I think that's an interesting point, right? And it probably something that a lot of people run into where they're like, oh, this software, like, I feel like it could change my business, but like, I just don't have like the money yet to do it. Do you feel like you should have invested in it earlier and it would have worked out? Or like, at what point do you recommend that people should invest in like a higher level software like that?
Me, simple. Once you have the money and you can. I just didn't have the money because remember I bootstrap.
Yeah.
I received a grant, but that was way later in 2023.
Okay.
Prior to that, I never applied to grants, accelerators. I was literally in the warehouse packing boxes with the staff.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have the money to invest in it. But what I will say is that as soon as I had enough money, I did it. And I saw the difference right away. So it's all about calculation. So calculate how much it costs you to pay certain people to do certain tasks. And then when you reach that level of, hey, this is how much it will cost me every month. Instead, if I had Shapiro, then now you can do that. Yeah, it's all about the numbers. We got to check our numbers, and it needs to make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. And so if we look at kind of the 3PL fulfillment provider space right now, I mean, obviously there's a ton out there, right? Different companies, and they're all kind of doing different types of things. And you've certainly differentiated yourself in a big way, I would say, with the whole accelerator program and what you're focused on from clients that you want to work with perspective that are purpose driven, as you said. So if you look at, and you've been doing this now for a while, right? Been in the game for a little bit. So, tell us a little bit about like, what do you see in the 3PL landscape, and what's your view into what's going on out there?
From what I see, I mean, I don't know. I don't know everything, of course.
Sure.
But the feeling I get is that more and more brands want to have that personal approach. They want to be very in sync with their fulfillment provider, which means, how fast I can communicate with you if there's something coming up. That's a big thing with us. We communicate with our clients through WhatsApp. We can send photos immediately. I say immediately, like within minutes, if they need something, if they need to see something. We also provide content. If they want some warehouse shots of us packing the orders, they just ask us simply in WhatsApp, and then we can provide that to them. And that's something that you don't see in a lot of warehouses. It's hard I can imagine how hard it can be to implement in a large warehouse. But very smaller 3PL, I think, gonna be winning with this approach of being very intentional and personal with their clients and providing extra services that they need. Because, once you get to the fulfillment center, if you used to pack from your house, you can do the content at your house. But once your products are all in the fulfillment center, you want this, for example. Another thing that I think makes a big difference with us is the fact that we work with smaller brands. And more than ever right now, I realize that if some of the small brands that we have, if we didn't have them, it would be way much harder for us right now in this economy. We've seen some very large brands dying, literally, around January after Q4. Brands that used to ship thousands of orders a day will literally down to like 100 orders a day, or some of them bankrupt altogether because they mismanaged their money, or they had a really big high for years, and then now they're paying too much in paid ads, whatnot. So these smaller brands that we get as members have a lot of potential. They might be small now, but we have a few that started in 2020. They might be shipping 200 orders a day. It's not that big. But when they started with us, they were shipping maybe 10. They were shipping maybe like 5, or some of them were shipping maybe 10 a month.
Yeah.
And now to see that growth is gradual. And right now, they are the only brand that we see that are not decreasing their sales. They're actually very steady and they keep growing versus the big ones that had a lot of, let's go.
Like a skyrocket. Yeah.
Exactly. And usually 3PL is going to go after the large brands. Of course, we need the mix. But I'm not going only after huge brands. I'm also looking for potential, purpose-driven, the founders super focused, and they want this to work because they want to help people. So they're not quitting, and they have an audience that is like cult-like. They want the product. They will buy the product even if it is their last cents, basically. There's some brands like this,
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, right? Because, obviously 3PLs want volume, right? Because that's how they make money, right? But, there is like kind of betting a little bit, right? On some brands where you're like, well, this is our minimum order volume. Like you said, we look for, 100 orders a day, like minimum. But there's this brand. It's interesting. Like, What factors do you see for brands that are like coming up that catches your, like, what's like something that would catch your attention to be like, you know what, I'll take a bet on this brand?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Are you asking the question, where's my stuff, too often? Whether it's in your own warehouses, from your suppliers, or in your customer network, if you're not sure where your stuff is, then SurgeAir has the solution for you. With SurgeAir's 99.9% accuracy, you're getting more than just supply chain visibility. You're getting the ability to orchestrate your supply chain and guide decisions in real time. Reduce the chaos in your supply chain and find operational truth with SurgeAir. Find your visibility and learn more at surgeair.com. That's surgeair.com.
The story of the founder and why they started the business, that piece is extremely important. And also how good they can express and articulate that with their audience, with their community. Even if they have only 20 followers on Instagram, if I see that every time they post the 20 followers engage, I know that this is a winning brand. Like, they're going to do well. They're going to grow at some point. And consistency, are they posting consistently? Are they trying to help people? That's another thing. If you try to help people and you're not salesy, people who are salesy usually don't do well right now. Yeah. But if you try to give value to your audience and you create that community where, okay, I created that product to help them. And even if they don't buy it, I still want to help them. That's what we want. Because that's actually what we do too. We offer a lot of workshops and we educate people online for free. They don't have to be members. And because we truly want to help them, because I don't want them to go through what I went through. If I can stop you from making the same mistake I made, that's a win for me. Of course, we got to pay bills and all of this, but that is coming on its own.
Yeah, and I think that's a very noble thing to do, right? Because you felt the pain, so you're like, I don't want anybody else to feel that same pain that I felt, right? Which I think is a very great thing for the industry and the community in general to be able to provide that. So now talk to us a little bit about, because we heard kind of the story and how you went from space to space and the 20,000 square feet, but you recently just moved, right, in the last like month, 2 months or so as well to a new space. So tell us a little bit about that and some of the challenges and why you chose to make this move.
Yes. Wow. I don't even know where to start.
Well, I didn't start with like why? Why did you decide you need another space?
Yes, we needed a larger space because in January, I literally start January 1st looking at my phone and I had over $100,000 in receivables that clients owe us for a while, for like maybe 2-3 months. And I knew at that point that, okay, I might never see that money. Okay. These were our top, I think I would say like 3 clients. They were shipping a lot. We upfront all the costs. And I was just like, oh my God, if I stop shipping, so I had to take the decision. I need to cut shipping for them. But then as a founder, as the operator too, I knew that if we stop shipping for them, it's a lot of volume. Then all the people I have at the warehouse that rely on this volume to work, they won't have any work. And
oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I start thinking, okay, maybe I should go and look for clients to replace them. However, our space was full. So the time it takes to get these people out, they have inventory, and they had a lot of inventory, which is crazy because they had more inventory than what they owe us. Oh, wow. I knew that I had to do something. So it was very, very a traumatic time for me to decide, okay, what am I going to do? At some point, we were losing $2,000 a day.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay.
Because I kept the staff, I shut down the accounts. So we were not shipping for them, we were shipping for the other clients. I didn't want to fire the staff,
Yeah.
because another thing is that the year before, it took me for a long time to make that team. So I had about like 15 people on the floor, trained them all last year, invested in a company office, culture officer to make sure that everybody's okay, train people, paid for training. So I'm thinking about all this investment and I'm like, oh my God, if I let them go, they're going to get another job. And even if I get
You have to rebuild at some point. Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't want to rebuild this. I need to think and figure out what to do. So for a little bit, I was losing that money and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Then, so now let's go back a little bit. Back in 2023, I won a pitch competition named Black Ambition. It's an organization created by Pharrell Williams, the singer.
Yeah. Oh, I think I saw your picture on Instagram with Pharrell, I think, right? Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
And so I won the second prize. Actually, that money was the money that helped us stay in business when all of these things was happening. In January and all of that. But the money wasn't even the greatest thing about this competition and this organization, is that they keep helping you after you stay involved with them. And the connection with Pharrell Williams was really, really great because he works at Louis Vuitton. He's the artistic director for Louis Vuitton. And through him, last year, I had the chance to visit the Louis Vuitton facility in New Jersey, in New York. Yeah. So I went there, visited the space, was with the supply chain director and the ops managers, all of them asking questions. And they're doing this, they're not handling their logistics themselves. So they have a very interesting partnership that they're doing with another 3PL. And so the warehouse is there, it's their system, it's their processes, they own everything, but the day-to-day operations are run by another 3PL.
Yeah.
And they have maybe 5 people from Louis Vuitton, 5 or 10, I'm not sure, who work along with the other management team. And they are the one taking care of the employees, everything. And I found this really interesting because I'm like, but I mean, it's Louis Vuitton. They have so much money.
Yeah.
I kept asking them last year, why are you guys doing this? Why you just don't do it yourself? And they kept trying to explain to me, but I couldn't get it at that point. So now, January, while I'm dealing with all of this, one of my clients, who is German, has this connection with a large warehouse. They are freight forwarders. They have that big 100,000 square feet warehouse, a little bit out of Atlanta. And that warehouse is literally empty because it's freight forwarding. So they have the freight coming in, but the freight is leaving. And just out of the blue, they were like, oh, maybe we should do a partnership with them or try to do this partnership that Louis Vuitton is doing with them because they're interested. They want to know what we're doing. We need space. At some point, I was looking for a larger warehouse because otherwise I would be stuck in that loop. And so eventually we were like, okay, let's try to do this. And we had the Louis Vuitton team actually helping us drafting the agreements, giving us the guidelines about how to make that partnership work, how to make it beneficial for us, but also for them, and to make it a long-term thing. And they literally gave us the blueprint, the agreements. We sit down on meetings with them. And that's literally how we get there. So now the way this partnership looks is really amazing for us because that gives us access to a 100,000 square feet warehouse without the overhead, a fixed overhead, meaning that we pay for the space that we use. But the most important thing for us was that it's our system. It's our processes. It's our shipping account, our shipping accounts. We work along with the team, with the management team, the operation manager, the supervisors in making the processes more efficient. And I have some of my staff is there every day. So it's really, it's our warehouse, but it's not.
Yeah. So do you have the old warehouse still, or no? Everything from there came over to the new one.
Actually, wanted to get rid of the other warehouse.
Yeah.
But one of the clients that we have, because I didn't talk about this piece, another thing that differentiates us is that we really tried to provide everything e-commerce founder will need to run their business, which is also space. And one of our clients is literally doing his production in our warehouse.
Okay.
So they sell a detox tea. They make that tea in that warehouse and they ship it also from so we're shipping it from the warehouse for them.
Okay.
And so it wasn't possible to move them to that warehouse. But what was great is that this client was outgrowing the space because we didn't have space even for us.
Yeah.
And he started to look for a warehouse. But then when I was like, hey, we're going to do this partnership, then that just worked perfectly. He actually stayed. He has more space, and I have the staff to do the shipping for them.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah. So he didn't have to change anything.
Yeah. So everything worked out very nicely. Yeah,
everything worked out.
Did you ever get paid from those clients at January 1st?
Still not now. I'm at 70,000. So I'm 30,000 paid.
Okay. All right.
So I still have 70,000, and that's a big point. I think in the industry, I see more and more 3PLs complaining about this issue.
Yeah.
Because we do net 7 or net 14. We used to do net 7. And initially, that was okay. Until 2023, I almost lost my business because my clients were doing too well. So basically, they started growing out of a sudden early 2023. And I always had a stable flow. So my cash flow was okay. It's like, okay, as soon as they pay, I have cash. I had cash saved, so we're good. And then at some point, I have a client who 10x overnight.
Wow.
So of course, the shipping cost, I have to pay the shipping cost, everything up front, the labor. And on top of that, people started paying a little bit later to keep cash on hand as well. So all of this mixed together was an issue with cash flow. And that's crazy because now I realize you have two different perspectives. The volume going to drop is going to be an issue, or people are not going to pay. But you also have the issue of people growing their business unexpectedly or getting a new client that's too big, things of that nature. And of course, remember, I'm bootstrapping. So that's another thing. I didn't take loans. I don't have any investors. And I wanted to stay like this as long as possible.
Yeah, that's actually very, very interesting because, you know, you think like, oh yeah, one of my clients 10x overnight, like that's going to be great for my business. And then you're like, oh man, like how am I gonna support this from like the cash I have to put out up front, right? To pay for these things before I can bill them for that, right? So that's a very interesting point right there. Very interesting. So now tell us too, I mean, like if you look right now, I mean, like what's the biggest challenge for you as a 3PL right now on the fulfillment side? Like what is the biggest challenge that you're trying to solve or that you see in the market in general?
Definitely finding the ideal client.
Okay.
I'm lucky I have a couple of them, but now that I am going on that sales mode, I have to actually get more clients. I have the space now and I need that volume. That's a huge challenge for me because I never experienced having to get clients. Even with the other business, that's not something that I'm familiar with. Even with the staff that I have, we're not wired, we're not trained to acquire clients because they all usually come to us. But now, because we want to make sure we get the right ones, we have to, because a lot of the leads we get for free are not the right people for the warehouse. Yeah. That's our biggest challenge right now, I would say, being able to find these clients that are going to fit with us. And not only in terms of volume, in terms of like being purpose driven and being aligned with our values.
Yeah. Interesting. And I think that is like a challenge because you gave a great example earlier in the conversation, right? Where you're just starting out. It's like, okay, well, we take this client and they have 250 SKUs, and now we're like, oh wait, we don't have space for other clients that can do more volume, right? So it's an interesting balance to figure out, like, how do we, sure, you can go out and just get anybody, right? But how do you find people that align with like what you're trying to do with your business, how you're trying to grow it, and how you're aligned with like your values, like you said, and the culture of your business too. And, do you work well together, like founder to founder as well? So I think it's very, very interesting there. Now, if we look at the future of Ecomspaces, you have this new space now as well. So what does the kind of future of Ecomspaces look like? What else do you want to accomplish?
That e-commerce accelerator, I really want to have that done. I think the goal for us always been to help purpose-driven brands that are overlooked, that have a lot of potential. And when you think about that number, 90% of e-commerce businesses going to fail or stop in 4 months. So that's a big number. And so imagine the Shopifys and the Klaviyo's and the ship stations and all of them, they're losing a lot of money when these people are not subscribing anymore. So even for them, that's a huge problem. But for me, I see it more as a problem for the marketplace, because some products are really good products. Some of the founders that we help have products that I use, and every time I'm scared, I'm like, oh my God, if they quit, I won't be able to use this, and I don't have anything else to replace. To replace it with. So no, they need to stay in business. Some people are literally, I believe, saving lives with their products. So for the consumer, think about it, like 90% out of this 90%, how many might be saving like 1,000 lives tomorrow or every day, So if people knew about their products, this could make the business sustainable. And if we can help with that, we can help the consumers as well. So it's not only about the founder, it's even more about the consumers, because we want good products out there. And one thing I always tell our founders is that if Coca-Cola is able to sell a product that we all know is killing us, and we buy it and they sell tons of it, you can sell you can be at that level. People need to know, it takes time, you need patience, but it's possible. I mean, if others can sell products that are killing people, your product is saving people, your product should be in the marketplace. And the future for us is really this e-commerce accelerator. If we can build that, have the sponsors, the likes of Shopify, ShipStation, and UPS, you name them, they're already helping us. And we can actually figure out that roadmap that we already have. We also slightly a tech company, because we want to make this available for everybody globally. Our clients come from everywhere. We have clients in Africa, we have clients from France, from the UK, from Germany, and make that global impact and hopefully help people.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's such a great mission to be on. And I love that it's coming from that place, like you said earlier, that like you went through this struggle and this pain, and you want to try and make it easier for people. And I think, recognizing that people are creating products that are really potentially making a difference in other people's lives, and being able to try and support that as much as you can, I think is a really great thing to do. So it's really great to speak to you today and learn more about Ecomspaces and your entire journey and everything you've been through to get to where you are today, which is a really great place, and really appreciate you joining me. So if people want to learn more about Ecomspaces or get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
Yes. So if people want to reach out to us, they can definitely reach out to us on our website, ecomspaces.com. And if they're interested in the fulfillment services or our membership, they can just go through the quiz, and then it will direct them to the right service. They can also find me on LinkedIn as Maïré Bavarday.
All right, fantastic. And we'll definitely put all of that information at thenewwarehouse.com, as well as in the show notes here. So thank you once again to Maïré for joining me on the show today.
been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Enjoyed this episode? Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast, and for more content from the New Warehouse, find us on LinkedIn and YouTube. Links to subscribe can be found in the show notes, and for everything The New Warehouse, head to thenewwarehouse.com.